Hello, all the students. This is Dr.Vineet Kumar Purohit from Mahavir Institute of Technology and Science. I serve in the Department of English, and here we shall come to know about one of the important topics of our syllabus of 12th standard of composition. The composition is of 40 marks and divided in 4 parts. One is the passage, another is short composition, third is report writing and letter writing, fourth is article and speech. So report writing holds much marks. It is of 7 marks, and therefore that is why I chose this to discuss with you people. So let's start with the topic report writing. Like it is asked and it is like very scoring. So I hope some of my inputs will help you to score good marks and understand the concept, this composition. So this is report writing. Can we have the next slide, please? Yeah, before starting the topic, before starting this particular topic, I would like to ask what the report writing is. The report writing basically like it's report, and we can have the very commonest example of report writing. It is about, the information which is passed over to somebody when it is asked. So the very good example, I repeat the sentence, of report writing we can have in front of our eyes in the form of newspapers always. Okay, the every day that we read the newspaper, that is the best example of the report writing. And yes, what is the another important thing in report writing or in the newspaper that we can say? That whatever is printed, whatever we are reading, that is basically in past tense. Okay, the entire news, update, information is of, a day before, and undoubtedly like it is very old also about that. Like uh 24 hours old, we can say. Okay, so the important thing while we are dealing with report writing is that it must be in past tense. Okay, and it must be factual also. And this is what we have written also over here, whether a person is a low profile public servant in a government organization or high profile business manager in a multinational company, almost everywhere may be asked to write reports at some point of the time or the other. Professionals such as administrators, scientists, business executives, and engineers have to write the reports for the different purposes. Reports serve several purposes, which may include. Okay, so like after going through this paragraph, we come to know that it is important for everybody. Those who call themselves professional, those who are working, they have to present what they did in past, and that is supposed to be exhibited in front of our immediate bosses. But what should be there? Okay, like a report should always be too much informative. Okay, it is done for, the decision making policies also. It is done for updation also of our products. Okay, for improvements also, for updation of our knowledge also. Okay, for actually, yeah, for analysis of a particular thing. So for like, so many things actually, if we want to systematize our working culture, we can have the reports, and that really may be helpful. So what the things that are supposed to be kept in mind while dealing with the report or while writing the report? That is the date, that is very important. Describing problems and suggesting the solutions, that comes in second last, portion in the report, entire report, that we are going to discuss in the next slides, undoubtedly. Next is discussing and analyzing the data. Okay, like it must be factual, and that is why analysis is very important. Recording events and happenings, which will help us to write down the report in newspapers or somewhere else, or to our bosses also. Analyzing a situation or a condition, giving feedback, suggestions, or the recommendations. That comes in the end, undoubtedly. So it is like very important for that. Next slide, please. Kept in mind. Next slide, please. Which are supposed to be kept in mind while we are dealing with the report. Uh, so in the next slide, undoubtedly, we will read about the types of the reports and the characteristics of the reports. Reports are written for so many purposes, like survey report, like lab report, like daily report, okay, routine reports. So many types of the reports are actually written. Okay, and sometimes our bosses actually immediately just call us upon there, and they ask sometimes like our parents, our guardians, okay, the seniors, okay, have you completed your task, something like that. Okay, so at that moment we submit our oral reports also, okay, and it is written also. So there are so many types, like informational and analytical reports. In informational actually report, only the discussion portion is done. Okay, the events, the situations are exhibited only. But in analytical reports, we people are supposed to put the facts also. Okay, we people are supposed to put the suggestions also. That is analytical report. Second is routine and the special report. Routine reports are like the daily, weekly, fortnightly, monthly, yearly, okay, annual, okay, quarterly. These are the routine reports which are supposed to be submitted on after a particular time. Whereas the special report, like, it must be having a format also, and so many, like, important information will also be there, which will be different from our routine reports also. Oral and written reports, these are the commonest one. I gave you the, right now I gave you the example of the oral report that boss calls up, or the senior actually calls us up, okay, and we people are supposed to exhibit the information, the updation, okay, orally, without any written pattern. And written reports, like on the paper, through email, or in a particular format, those are actually the written reports. Formal and non-formal reports are like, a formal report will be submitted to bosses, okay, to our immediate bosses and the employees, and they will be following a particular format also, okay, even in the newspaper. And the non-formal reports are actually the reports in which the reports can be submitted anytime, okay, without any the format also, and it can be submitted orally also. Okay, so these are actually the types, and there are many actually other types of the reports also. Reports are also like periodic and all that, which are also going to be included in this types of reports. Okay, and next comes the characteristics of the reports, like the things which are supposed to be kept in mind while dealing with the report writing. What are these? Like the accuracy and relevance. Yeah, it is very important. As I said, it must be in the past tense, and it must have the facts actually. Like, none cannot actually presume that yesterday in our campus the respected PM Modi sir came, visited our campus. No, if it really happened, then only we can tell about, we can relate actually these things. So it must be like accurate, okay, and whom we are sending, okay, whom we are sending. So we need to check the link, the date, the email ID, okay, the address, everything is supposed to be there. Details based on evidence, as I said, like the fake actually news is not supposed to be included in our report writing. So it must have some evidences also. Like, yeah, in every line actually evidences should be there. Next is clear and precise, to the point. We are supposed to put up all the data and information, and it must be precise. It stands for like very small. Okay, it should be like to the point, not much detailed and discussed. Yeah, simple language, like no quotations, no difficult words are allowed, because it is for the general mass, and every like person must be able enough to understand this. So it must be in simple language. Impartial recommendations, like whatever we are suggesting, that should be applicable for everyone, and nobody should be affected through our suggestions, recommendations. Okay, so it must be impartial, not partial. Reader is important. Like, while we are writing down the report, we must keep in mind that whom we are sending, what kind of the background the reader is having. Okay, so keeping in mind about the background, educational background of the reader, one must prepare the report. The last is source of information. We are supposed to mention that how we got to know who actually asked us to write down this report. Okay, like the name of our boss also supposed to be there. Next, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so in the next slide, we are having the another thing which is like also very important over here. How to prepare an official report, a sample format of an official report. Okay, for our bosses, it is for our newspapers. Like these are supposed to whatever actually this displayed format which I'm going to discuss with you right now, that is the latest actually pattern for the report writing, and that should be followed by us, okay, to score good marks. We will be starting with the heading from, like the name and designation of the person submitting the report. Okay, like if I'm the reporter, then my name and designation must be there. Then immediate after that, number 2, I will be putting up the accurate date. Number 3, the 2, like whom I am sending, my immediate boss. Name and designation of the person whom the report is being submitted. Fourth will be the title of the report. That is also very important. Fifth is the terms of reference, like who instructed to submit the report and why. Okay, who I told you, like in the previous slide, the last point, source of information. Who told you? Who asked you actually to write down the report? So this is supposed to be here. Summary of the report. Okay, that is going to come in the end. Like the summary of the report will include that whatever your report has stated, has talked about, has informed us. So it should actually include that particular thing first of all. That particular thing must be important. But see, the summary of the report, this particular section is going to be, used only when our reports are the lengthier, more than 10 pages. Otherwise, we can skip this point. Seventh is body of the report, analysis of the situation and findings. Yes. So here, it is the one single paragraph where we people are supposed to write down each and everything. Okay, what we saw. Okay, what kind of the incidents actually took place. Conclusion, like recommendation and suggestions. Like when we are talking about the report writing, I can say we can take the example of the car accident, car and truck accident. Okay, so like what was the time? Okay, why the accident? Yeah, in the title we can write down the car and truck accident, and we can write down that how actually many activities or the scene actually took place over there, the things actually took place over there. Okay, that I saw. Okay, it was damaged but no damage of anyone's life. Okay, they were badly injured, they were taken to the hospital. Some roadways bus actually was coming and they took the help from this. The passengers were taking the help from the another bus. Okay, and they were sent to their respective places, like this. Okay, so like if we are dealing with this car accident kind of report writing, then we can do one thing. What we can do, like we will be concluding by providing the good suggestions and recommendations, that there must be the proper light arrangement, road light arrangements. Okay, drinking and driving should be restricted completely, and the people along with the family members must avoid the night travels and all that. Okay, so these can be the recommendations, and ultimately we are going to give our signature also. So this is for that the official uh, report that we can say regarding that we can do this. And uh, generally, like in class 12, the students are asked the newspaper pattern. So in the next slides, I hope we can have that when we are dealing with the newspaper report. Okay, so what should be there, what the things are supposed to be kept in mind. So here the slide, I may read it out for you. How to prepare a newspaper report, a sample report format. Okay, a sample report format. So it is like heading of the report. Okay, that will actually come in the center on the top of the page. Next is place and date. that is again going to come after the heading, after a space, okay, in the left hand side, okay. Then the body, like the complete paragraph in which we are going to discuss each and everything, okay. Again, like we can take the same example of the car accident, so that can also be there. Then comes the after the body, when the matter is done, after one spacing, we can have signature of the reporter, okay, the name and the designation also of the reporter, that can also come over here. So yeah, I'm having a sample also over here in the next slide, which can really help you to attend this particular question in your examination. So here the sample report is about the annual function of Mittal International School, Kota. I took it the example from that. So here, yeah, see, it is the title in the center, on the top center of the page. Okay, and after that in the left we are having the date 25th March 2012, and the body is like in one paragraph discussing that Mittal International School celebrated its annual function on 25th March 2012. Okay, and these were actually between 7 and 10:30 p.m. undoubtedly. The theme of this grand function was the world of fantasy, and the young students gave enhancing performances, enchanting, like, magical. The chief guest was Professor R.P. Yadav, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Rajasthan Technical University, Kota. It is, I took the, a very old example, and that is why it is over there. Otherwise, like right now, the Vice Chancellor is somebody else, okay? And the function was presided over by Mrs. Sangeeta Kakkad, the principal of the school. The program was attended by students, parents, teachers, and many dignitaries of the city. The inaugural speech by the chief guest and the farewell speech by the principal were extremely impressive and inspiring. Okay, so like right from the beginning, the date, what the events took place, and how it got ended, everything is there in one paragraph. So this is actually the smartness of the writer, of the student, okay, of the report writer. And as I said, the signature Ravi Arora, the designation correspondent where in the Times of India and Kota. Okay, so it is actually the newspaper report. It was the sample. So I showed you actually about both the types of the reports, like for the newspaper and for the office purpose also, which is used by the professionals. Okay, and I taught you about the types also. Okay, and the things, the points which are supposed to be kept in mind, which is also like very, very important, because the purpose, okay, and uh, the organization, the principle of the organization, the clarity, okay, the brevity, okay, the arrangement of the sentences, everything should be, very much clear in our mind. And this is actually the way to handle the report writing to score very good marks. Thank you all.